and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Kenna.
President Trabicki Bell.
Here.
Mr. Conti.
Here.
Dr. Carpenter.
Present.
Ms. Lualba.
Here.
Mr. McCarthy's not in yet. He may be late, or he may not make it. Mrs. Provenza.
Here.
Mr. Suchevich.
Here.
Mayor Recupero.
Here.
Mr. Alexander is also on his way. He'll be late. Mr. Fitch.
Here. Are you here?
Thank you.
I'm here as well.
Okay, Mrs. Del Rosso was called at the last minute to an issue.
Yeah, she was called to the school district for an issue with the school district. But she should be here at 7:30, so I told her if she gets here, we can have her update at the end of the meeting.
Very good. Okay, council will now hear comments from the public on agenda items at this time. If you intend to talk at either of our sessions, please sign in. Okay. Yep, Mr. Kenna.
Let the record show that Mr. Alexander is here.
Early.
You're right. Look at that.
Yeah, it's only 6:59.
That's fast.
Everybody has a financial report for the month in front of them. There's a list of all the bills for the month toward the end, and we need a motion to pay the bills.
Okay, can I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Mr. Conti, second by Mr. Suchevich. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
The tax collector and special taxes report, we received our first distributions of real estate taxes for the current year this month, so you'll see a spike in revenue. We received $120,570.20 in real estate taxes for the current year. $8,803.48 in real estate taxes for delinquent real estate taxes. We received $1,090.25 in real estate tax transfer taxes, $11,647.50 in earned income taxes for the current year, and $2,412.93 for current local service taxes.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the tax collector and special taxes report?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti, second by...
I'll make that second.
I think
Janet already did.
Yeah, Mrs. Lualba did. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
For the treasurer's report for April, we began April with $272,838.36 in the general fund. We received $235,329.60 in deposits. We spent $93,417.71. We finished April with $414,750.25.
Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to accept treasurer's report.
Motion by Mr. Conti, second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Police chief report.
Good evening. This for the month of April. We had 120 complaints, 19 crimes reported, 14 cleared, 13 charges made. We had 3 crime code summaries issued, 5 vehicle code summaries issued, 14 borough code summaries issued, and 65 parking violations or tickets issued. Magistrate's fines collected was $379.31. $360 in borough fines and fees collected. $30 in police reports of purchase. Municipal fines was $73, a total of $842.31. And our parking permit fees received $190. A couple other things I wanted to talk about I had brought up before. We got a get us an estimate on that, adding the cameras. We had held off on that for a little bit because we wanted to make sure that whether the grant's going to go through or not. But I gave everybody kind of a copy of the estimate. I think we got it. That's through the district attorney's office. I've already got all the stuff in the office. It's just adding the cameras to the system we already have. It's going to make it a lot easier, basically cheaper. And so I'm just, we just need to make a decision because it's going to put a camera down at the river, at the park. He doesn't really have it on here, but it's going to put one on the edge of the building at this park. They're going to add a fixed one up at the field. Basically, the fixed one's going to point down at the little playground where the kids are at. The one we already got up there that we can see the whole field with, and it will always be turned towards the ball diamonds and the basketball courts and that kind of stuff. And also remind me, I have the letters for that sign up there.
I appreciate it.
Because we collected them last time.
Okay.
I meant to say something to you. And then also I have the paperwork. I had mentioned about the fingerprint machine, this is portable one. Actually, I've already got the $2,500 check. I have to do the paperwork first, but I want to make sure that we basically have to approve it because it's about, after the first year, it's $1,000 maintenance fee a year. So I just want to bring that up.
I think it's, we can.
We can do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Okay, can I have a motion to apply for, have the chief move forward on the application for the fingerprint machine with a maintenance fee of $1,000 a year?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Chief, you said the 4 cameras would be at Riverbank Park, the Borough Building here for Railroad Park.
And one fixed one up at the ball, up at Cribs Field. I'm not sure what the score means, so it's just something I'm going to have to get back to John with and talk to him.
Okay, so we're going to make a motion on this. Okay, can I have a motion to move forward on the cameras for with the Security Consulting Solutions Incorporated for $2,250?
I'd like to make that motion for the security cameras, for security consulting solutions.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Loalbo.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
I was just up at Riverview Park and wanted to mention there was one game going on between a Plum team and a Riverview team, and I was talking to some of the parents, and one of the Plum mothers mentioned to me this is the nicest park she's been to, and just couldn't say enough nice things about the park, the ball diamonds and stuff, so I wanted to mention that.
Cribs.
Cribs.
The Cribs.
Cribs Field, I'm sorry, yeah. Play ball. I did have to talk to a couple of young men that were in the park, and kind of get them to understand their language.
That's the main thing up there right now is the language.
Yeah, I understand that. And it's something that we're going to push. The mayor and I have talked about it, and we're going to push about somebody being out there. And I'm not going to give them a one chance, and they can just be suspended from the park for 30 days or something if I have to.
Most definitely, yeah. Just what I was going to say, what you said, we're going to have an officer up there, going through the park. And hopefully it don't get to the point where we have to put an officer up there. We're going to act on this now. And I did supply the chief with about, 4 or 5 names.
And that's some of the players that I talked to before, and we've got it down to about 5, so I think I can get this curved here pretty soon.
It'd be appreciated.
Absolutely. And I'm going to brag on me a little bit. I ran a half marathon Sunday in Pittsburgh.
All right.
Hey.
Good job, Chief.
I ran it last year too. I thought my time was good, 2 hours and 7 minutes, but I'm not a winner. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you finished, you're a winner.
Stay in shape.
You're our winner, Chief.
Yep.
Oh, Ray. Oh, yeah.
I ran the full marathon.
We expected the full marathon. We expected expect the fire chief to run it next year. I mean, we got the...
You're getting a new, maybe you'll get a new chief.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief Price.
Can I have a motion to accept the police chief's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the police chief's report.
Motion by Mr. Conti, second by Mr. Suchovich. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Fire chief's report.
Month of April wasn't too awful bad. We had 8 fire calls. This month seems to be kicking it off pretty good. But we got our boat up the station last night and worked on it, cleaned it up. Hopefully it's going to be put in the river this week. So if there's any questions on the river, hopefully we'll be ready to go. Other than that, everything's moving along good.
People finding bodies in the river like they have been.
Yeah.
That's a good thing you're being.
And we got our friends too on the river to help us out if we need, because with only one boat sometimes, there's people like Mr. Conte that have their boat and they've already offered it if we've needed it for dragging details and or whatever. So we have friends on the river that help us out too.
That's decent. Thanks, Tom. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the fire chief's report?
I'll make a motion to accept the fire chief's report.
Motion by Mr. Conti. Can I have a second? Second. Second by Mrs. Loalbo. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Lower Valley report.
For month of Verona, we did 38 calls, 16 transport ALS, an hour transport BLS, 4 patient refusals, 4 cancellations, 1 lift assist, 1 fire detail, and 1 non-emergency transport. It's been a very busy month for us. Last month we did 311 calls total. In addition to that, we participated in an active shooter drill at Springville High School. It was pretty successful. I don't know if you saw it
On TV.
We also did a health and safety fair in Harmer, and told members of council there to take their attendance. And we also went through licensure, all within a 3-day period. So we're good for another 3 years. I also would like to thank the Verona Fire Department for coming out and helping us extricate a patient out of a residence going to hospice. They're very professional, sympathetic, and compassionate to the family. Thanks again, Ray.
Thank you. Anytime.
Jamie, what does ALS and BLS stand for?
ALS is when it requires a paramedic in the back of the truck. We're more advanced whenever you're pushing narcotics, administering medications, or even as simple as a heart monitor. BLS is transport with the EMT in the back, which is just basic license. Just monitoring the patient, giving company transport.
And when I was over at the health fair, the lady, I didn't get her name, she gave me some of these to pass out, so we'll put them in the stands in the, it's about the wheelchair transportation service.
Correct. We're expanding on the wheelchair business, and we have a PUC license which enables us to offer transportation for patients who cannot physically be transported by bus or cab or access, but doesn't require an ambulance.
We'll put this out in the vestibule so people can be aware of that, okay?
Is that a set fee or depending on how far and all
We
that?
bill the insurance company. The insurance company sets the rates. We do not.
Okay. I have questions for you later about that. I know someone who might need it.
And I have one more thing.
Certainly.
And I want to thank Laura Valley. They trained, did some training courses last week. We have to do our annual first aid, and he had a couple people come out and train us on that, so we'll stay in line with the state. And also they did some training on tourniquets, and we're going to get supplied tourniquets. Basically the tourniquets is an officer gets injured in the line of duty and has to, go to that extreme to use a tourniquet, and we've been trained on how to be able to put them on ourselves or someone else if we have to save someone's life. So I want to thank them for the training they did this week.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the EMS report?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
I only have two quick things. I got another email or another phone call today from the lady at Rich Fitzgerald's office for the municipal tour that his office would like to do. I need to have some topics to give her so that she can get them ready for our tour. And we talked about it at the workshop. Did anybody come up with anything?
I gave you a list?
You did.
Okay.
When is it?
May 30th.
They're coming here. I
Yep.
wasn't at the workshop.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so they're going to come here. And I don't have the details in front of me that we talked about, but I think they're going to be here at 5:30 or 5, and I'll text you tomorrow. They're going to give us a half hour here.
When I first came on, the WIDA, I believe, he was Conley and Larry Dunn, they would come out in a Pat bus.
Yeah,
and we drove. Is that what they're going to do?
Yeah, they're going to bring a bus, and they're going to come here for half an hour. We're going to chat, and then we're either going to walk the town, or we're going to get on their bus and go somewhere and talk about it. If we want to take them to the park, if we want to.
That's what we did. We took them both to the park, to the parks and showed them the monuments and what have you, what we have done.
Yeah, so, some of the ideas that she had, like, do we want to show her the parks and ask for things with the parks? Do we want to show, talk to her about the railroad and develop, trying to get somebody at the railroad to do some development? What do we want? But they would like to have an idea of the topics that we're going to discuss so that he doesn't get blindsided and not have a way to respond.
Right.
We were at a function last Saturday, and we talked to Mr. Fitzgerald himself, and he said the same thing. Come up with a list so, we know, we're online with what we want to do.
Yep.
So that's good.
And I had talked with Darla up at Seven Springs at the ALM conference. So I tried to get this because they had,
reached out to me.
Yeah, they had discussed this as one of the presentations. So I went up afterwards and said, how do I get Verona on the list? So I also received a survey at our borough email, so I'm assuming we all did. And it was basically a survey of interest of topics, economic development, community development, so that they've got something to go by. So they were going to compile, I guess, all the communities where they're doing this. So if you can check your borough emails, there's probably a survey there for you to complete.
Have anybody have anything to add to this list?
What's on the list?
That's at my office. What we have,
I put the railroad property down.
Yep.
I put the parks, the 3 parks. I had suggested years ago, when Mrs. Worf was on board, we had gone over to Aspinwall or I think it was Blawnox we were over there, and there was a barge in the river where they did their concerts and that were done on the barge, and I thought that would be a pretty cool idea to put it down there and, get concerts down there as well, I can't remember what else I put on that list. I think there was like 4 or 5 things on there, I can't remember. I think the blighted property was one.
Right, yeah.
Vacant property was one.
yep.
That's a good list. Thanks.
We just going to go with that list?
I would say so.
Okay. Then that's what I'll send her.
Okay. Works for me.
If anybody comes up with anything else, I think it's an open communication with her and I. So if you come up with anything else, let me know so that I can get her in the loop before the event. And they also asked if we would like the police chief to be involved. I would say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, no problem with that.
So are you going to contact him?
Yep.
Okay.
They asked because they were going to bring some extra people if we were going to have the chief there. So I'll let them know that we will, and I'll talk to the chief. And the only other thing is that I would ask if you could have us have an exec session after. We don't need to vote. We don't have to come back.
All right. Exec session. Hey, Mayor.
The chief went over everything I was going to bring up about the kids at the ball field. I did tell him that I want officers up there. I gave him about 5 names as he's looking into. and on the cameras also. Pretty much that's it. I do gotta leave at 8 o'clock though.
So you're telling me that we gotta get this meeting moving and get it finished?
You always say that. I always say that.
Yes, Mayor, we will do it. Thank you. I just have a couple things here. Shirley Davis from the Twin Boroughs Ministry contacted me over the weekend and asked if the borough could make a donation, as we have, to their summer lunch program. Twin Boroughs Ministry also does it in conjunction with the Riverside Community Church, where Rick Rosenberger has his folks come over and helping us and such. So I would like to make a motion for us to give a $300 donation to the Twin Boroughs Ministry. They are a 501c3 organization. In regard to their summer camp, she asked that on the check within the memo you could put down summer camp. So I made the motion for a $300 donation to Twin Boroughs Ministry.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. So second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? She also asked for Cripps Field if we could have the recreation there. They could have their recreation time there from June 18th to August 13th. And I'm not sure of the time during the day. I did text her, but she had not gotten back to me. So,
What were those dates?
June 18th to August 13th. So a motion on the floor for a $300 donation to the Twin Boroughs Ministry for the summer lunch program and camp, made by myself, second by Mr. Conti. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. I just want to talk a little bit about the bike derby. It is on June 9th. It is from 11 to 1. Dom, would you please check with RAA for the helmets?
Yes.
Ray, could we get ice from the fire department?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Provided the machine's not broke, sometimes it breaks down, but yeah.
Oops, okay. Our DJ will be Mr. Marcus Reed. His kids go to Verona Elementary. He did it last year for us. He had just as good a time as everybody else. David, I was wondering if those little badges that you had given out, could we have extra badges for the day? Give those out to the kids?
I'll order more.
Okay. And any other donations that the audience, community members want to give? I think Sergeant Franco goes over to Five Below and gets the prizes for the kids. So if you have any extra toys at home that are new and willing to donate, he is taking all donations. I attended the rec board meeting last Tuesday, and Trish made these nifty little flyers up for movies in the park, and also the yoga in the park that's starting. There's a survey that's also out, and she's asking that people respond to that survey. I think it's still on, isn't it? Yes. Okay, and she made a list of all the comments in that have come in so far. So if anybody's interested in these, I'll leave them up here for people to see. The concession stand that has brought in around $2,000. That money comes into Verona. They give it back for Parks and Recreation. So, Matt, I was wondering, whenever we can get working on that concession stand grant or whatever that we want to do up there, if we can.
Yeah, I actually met with part of the rec board today and talked about it. So it will be turned in at the end of the month. So
okay.
And we weighed the options. We're going the route of all new instead of trying to rehab what's up there.
Okay, good. Let's see, we talked about Lower Valley. Mr. Steinhaus has requested attending 2 courses. One was today, so how do I ratify? We have just given him permission to do that at the meeting.
We're both no on this.
Just ratify.
Give it back.
Your own charge card.
Give it back, Bob.
What's the other one? The other one is for the May 10th, which is 2 days
So-
in Washington for $50. So one was for $125, the other one was for $50.
So a motion would be in order to ratify the council decision to send Mr. Steinhaus to the seminar today and to authorize his attendance at the seminar in 2 days?
Yes.
That would be the motion.
Okay, so motion was made to ratify the decision.
Motion is in order.
A motion is in order to ratify the decision to send Mr. Steinhaus to the class that was held today in Pittsburgh for $125, and also to authorize him to attend the Planning Commission course on the 10th of May in Washington, PA for $50.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Conti. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The only other thing that I have here is I would like to share with you. Last Friday was Verona Elementary School's Give Back Day. They came down and presented all of council with their little plaques. Okay. This was the second grade. It says, "Thank you for all you do for us. Thank you for keeping our town safe." We were presented with little cards as well. Everybody got a card. Okay, it says, "Thank you, Verona Council, for the police and the firefighters." And mine says, "We woo, we woo, we woo." So there goes the sirens going. So. And if you're wondering what all the tongue depressors are outside these windows here, the kindergarten kids planted sunflower seeds. So I was wondering, Mr. Conti, if before the OVR kids get started, these plants are going to be watered out here? When it doesn't rain, do you think the street department can
With these guys, I think I'll be able to get them to go
To
out
just
for a few times to get it done.
And just until the OVR, and I think the interviews are next week, correct? So, I mean, the OVR is going to be starting real soon, but I don't want them to die out now because they don't have the water. And that is everything. Okay. Mr. Pitch.
Just a few quick things. We're rather busy in town here. The 2018 paving project and the Diamond Way Point repairs, they are both advertised currently. I have the bids coming back to me on the 21st, so I will open review them and we can discuss them in more detail at the workshop meeting and get moving on awarding them. The contractor on Wildwood Avenue should be starting Thursday. Ran into a little hiccup getting the proper signage in place, so he was delayed a few days on that. And the other thing I think that everyone might have received was from Elgisan Grow program. I'll be attending a pre-application meeting on the 22nd in regards to 2 possible grants that we might be able to attain through Elgisan. And as I spoke earlier, the Keystone Greenways grant for a new pavilion and bathrooms concession area at Cribs, that will be submitted by the end of the month. And that's all I have.
Wonderful, thank you. I do have a couple more things here. We did receive a thank you from the Greyhounds, the Nittany Greyhounds. It says, "Thank you for supporting our shoe drive. With your help, we surpassed our goal of 10,000 pairs of shoes and raised over 4,000 for the Greyhounds. Your shoe donations will help us find more forever homes for the retired racing greyhounds while benefiting developing nations by providing a way for struggling communities to create business and economic growth, and also helping the environment by keeping shoes out of our landfills." It was a win-win year for the Shoe Drive fundraiser, and we sincerely appreciate your efforts, the Nittany Greyhounds. And also, I wanted to share these pictures with council. Mr. Worf was kind enough to take these pictures and share them with me. I shared them with Mr. Steinhaus. This is along West Railroad Avenue and going down toward the areas behind Giant Eagle and such. And I was wondering, I mean, it's a mess. I mean, there are beds out there. Mr. Recupero, I was going to ask you if you could have the chief maybe walk down there. I mean, I'm afraid people are sleeping down there. And then, Mr. Conti, I was going to ask you, there's garbage bags down there as well. If the street guys could get that garbage out of there.
Yeah, it's at the end of West Railroad, into the woods?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Worf. Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few things to report on. As always, we had our code enforcement meeting on the, well, it was actually on the 5th Monday of this month. Nancy's going to have a lot more to talk about that. We went over some ordinances and some code enforcement stuff. I did forward to all of council not only the ordinance that Nancy's going to bring up in her report, but also all of the ordinances that are currently pending, so that everybody has a copy of them once they're advertised. There's also, I believe, and Jerry, you may have received something on this, that we have to update our stormwater management ordinance, either adopting the counties, or I think there's a DEP one. You're mandated by law to do that every so many years, and this is one of the years that you're mandated to do that. So I'll be putting that together. I think Matt's office has even forwarded to me a copy. I don't know if it's for Verona or one of the other communities that we represent, but one way or another, we'll get an updated stormwater management ordinance put together for you guys so that we can get that updated as we're required to do by law. I think we've already requested an executive session. I'll just talk more on that topic when we get into the executive session. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Conti.
I got a couple phone calls when we were taking the old signs, street signs down. One sign that we took down that we had up, we probably shouldn't have had up, but we did. It was at 4th and Church. We removed that sign, and we don't have a sign to replace it. And there were some people requesting to, at the very least, have a sign put up that says Church Street, which is our street. If everyone's okay with it, I want to be against doing 4th and Church, since that's what it was to begin with that we removed. If everyone on council's okay with that, I'll have AJ get the signs for that.
I'm okay with that. I think it needs to be up.
Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
You mean to get new signs that match the other signs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll have him do that. And they're moving pretty good on the signs.
New signs?
The reason
They're looking good around town.
Yeah, they do. That's the reason the water line hasn't been put in yet. They're ready to do the water line, but I want them to finish up the signs, since that's been an ongoing thing. I would rather see the signs get up, and we'll do whatever we have to do to make sure those flowers are okay but as soon as the signs are done, they're going to start on the water line, and then we won't have to worry about it. About watering it.
What are the signs, Tom?
The street signs, the new street signs that we got.
Okay. And have those been authorized by council?
The original ones were?
I thought they were.
Yeah.
So we already did do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it goes back to as far as the road was on
Yeah.
council.
Yes, it was a couple years, 3 years.
All right, so I'll have them get that. The water line will get started as soon as the street signs are done. They also put a one call in for the building down by the salt pile that has the holes in the roof. So as soon as the one call clears, Duquesne Light already removed their electric line from it. As soon as the one call's cleared, they're going to take that building down. And they've also been working on the bathrooms at Cribs. Apparently, some people left surprises for them in the toilets. So they had to go up and clean all that out and get everything good, ready to go. We have to figure out, maybe with the cameras up there, we can figure out who is doing this stupid thing.
Were they the porta-johns, Dom, or were
No,
they the
the bathrooms.
bathrooms? Okay.
The street sweeper is out. Still, the repairs aren't done yet, as far as I know. I talked to AJ, he was trying to find out about how long it's gonna be. I haven't heard back from him, so he might not have been able to get a hold of him. And then in the meantime, we had our dump truck, the F-550 had an issue where it had to be towed to Sam's over in Springdale. We're waiting to hear what the problem is with that. It just shut off on them. They couldn't get it running. Hopefully it's something simple. And other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Dr. Carpenter?
So the main thing about ordinances for tonight is if you all should have a copy of the anti-bullying ordinance, and we need to look that over, maybe take a minute to look that over. And I first would then like to make a motion to approve this for advertising.
So the ordinance itself is the same ordinance that we've had since the mayor contacted me a few months ago to get a hold of the mayor of Sharpsburg, who got it from the folks over in Brentwood, I guess, except that Madam President wanted to incorporate the Riverview anti-bullying policy language within the definition. So the only thing that's changed in this ordinance is the definition of bullying. It incorporates the Riverview and I passed that out to everybody, the Riverview, the school district anti-bullying language in it. That's what it does. So that's it.
So does anybody have any questions?
This C1 here, Craig, this section here, any conduct, I mean, does this list what that stuff is?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the Crimes Code statute.
Okay.
Did I?
Yeah, you made it.
I thought I did.
Did you make a motion? I'll second it.
Okay.
I didn't know you made the motion.
Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
So now that we have this final one in this group approved to be advertised, we add that to all the other ones that are in your email, the most recent of which was food truck, but there's several of those others that we dealt with that I don't remember off the top of my head, but they're in your email. We talked about them a couple months ago. They've been waiting for this last one so that they can be advertised. So I want to make the motion that we approve all 7 of those ordinances to be advertised.
I think there was only 6.
Yeah, I don't think there was 7, however many there were.
6, however many there are. The 6 ordinances that we've approved for advertising, I'm now making the motion to go ahead and advertise all of them in a group.
Second. Okay, motion by Dr. Carpenter to advertise for all the ordinances prior discussed, and second by Mrs. Loalbo. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
So my anticipation is that, or expectation is that this advertising will have taken place by the time we meet for workshop, and then we can approve them to go into our ordinance, our official E-Code 360, or, whatever the next step is for approved ordinances.
Just like to make a real quick comment, if I may, on the bullying. I am meeting with the mayors next Wednesday, the 16th.
You are the mayor.
What's that?
You are the mayor.
Yeah, I know.
He's meeting with the other mayors.
Oh, all the mayors.
All the mayors.
From Penn Hills, Plum, Oakmont, and Monroeville, and I am going to bring this up to them. Penn Hills has already passed this same ordinance that I brought to them, and Craig wrote that up also. So hopefully we could start something and continue to expand this.
So Gateway has it, Sharpsburg has it. They were initially the first ones. And then Penn Hills and us.
Not Gateway.
Not Gateway.
Brentwood,
thank you.
Brentwood, Sharpsburg, Penn Hills, Verona, and I'm going to start implementing it, with this Mayor's Association, which we are starting.
Good.
Mayor from Plum is actually starting.
Good.
Local mayors.
Thank you.
So, to continue on, just to summarize some of the work that our code and zoning enforcement officer has been doing, there's been, in the month of April to May, 8 occupancy permits approved and 32 occupancy permits pending approval, and 12 temporary occupancy permits remain open pending inspection. He also allowed 1 sign permit, 2 dumpster permits, and put out 3 non-traffic citations, and there was also a court visit that we made, and I don't know, Mr. Steinhaus, if you want to comment on any of that?
They were fairly simple for the first hearings. There were 4 no-shows, 5 no-shows, but it went well. We were all presented to the magistrate, and the borough ended up winning all cases. So I don't know at this point right now if any of them are going to go to appeals or not.
Anything else you need to add? No. The only thing else I can think of right now is that usually our ordinance meeting is on the 4th Monday of May, but the 4th Monday of the month, in May, Memorial Day. So we were going to move it to the 21st of May. Can you make that, Craig? At 3:30? We're moving the time up a little bit. Hold on.
Yes, I can make that.
Okay, so the next ordinance meeting will be on May 21st at 3:30 p.m. here in Bob's office. And I believe that's all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Suchovich.
Madam President?
Yes.
Before we go to Mr. Suchovich, I have one more item on my report. We all have these little flyers, these screen free yoga in the park. Mrs. Loalbo contacted me with regard to that and asked that I prepare a waiver of liability agreement so that we can make sure that Verona Borough is protected in case of any sort of injury or fall with anybody participating in that yoga in the park. And I have prepared that for her and forwarded a draft over for her to review. So I just wanted to report that to council as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tina. Mr. Suchovich.
Only thing I have, I talked to the borough manager about the, everything going on, checks and budgets and everything. Everything seems to be in line. We're on track with where we need to be.
Thank you. Mrs. Loalbo.
Thanks, Craig, for that. Do we need to do any kind of motion or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Okay, I can pass it on. I did forward it to Trish, and then we can have it printed up for...
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome. I'd just like to mention that our Keystone State Wrestling Alliance, the date was picked for August 25th, the Saturday. It'll be at 6 o'clock up at Cribs.
I'm sorry, what date was that?
August 25th, it's a Saturday. We'll start at 6 p.m. And they also will be doing something for the fallen firefighters and police department, honoring those people at that event. I'd also like to mention, there's been talk for the bike derby, having a community bike ride afterwards. So that's still pending, but that might happen. And I think that's all I have. Yes, the Movies in the Park has been distributed, and I think it'll be a great turnout this summer. The mayor did mention to me also, maybe we can have an ice cream night or a popsicle pass that night too.
We've done that in the past.
So some other ideas that can help enhance it. And that's all, thank you.
Thank you. And you said the wrestling will be at Cribs?
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Provenza?
Yes, ma'am. A couple announcements. Keystone Collections Group will be here in the council chambers on Wednesday, May 23rd, and that's the day that is the last day for the 2% discount on your tax. So you may want to share this with family, friends, neighbors. They can just come right here, pay their taxes. And then on Monday, July 23rd, which after that date, it goes into penalty, but they will be here also from 9 to 3 here in council chambers, and people will be able to pay their taxes here if they haven't already paid them on the 23rd. And I did attend Give Back Day. It was wonderful. It was a great group of children. They were so excited. They had never been here before, and they even got to go to the jail and sit in the cell. They just thought that was very, very exciting. It was something they had never done before. So we had a wonderful day.
They're so little, all 25 of them fit in one room.
We took them on a tour of the whole entire building, starting from the police station and ended through the garage through here, and explained every department and ended up into the borough manager's office.
Yes, it was a really good day, and I thought that was a great idea to do that. I was pleased to be here. June 10th is the cutoff date. If you have any ads or any articles, please see me for them. I'll be glad to take care of it for you so that we can get it out early because of 4th of July. And of course, election is Tuesday, May 15th. The polls will open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Just a reminder to everybody. And I also attended the Rec Center Board meeting on Tuesday, May 1st. Always a very good meeting, very well conducted, very productive group of people. I thank all of you. And I also attended the last code enforcement meeting, and they're always very good. Everything seems to run right on schedule there. And I think that's it. I've been to one of everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anything from the special committees? Halem? Nothing breathtaking at the Council of Governments? PCC? Okay, council will now hear comments from the public, or do you want Carrie to?
Let's do Carrie present first.
Were you able to show everyone?
No, but I will pass them around.
Okay, well, I also brought I can flip my too.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. So I guess I'll start with this. Carrie Del Rosso. I'm the public relations consultant for the borough. I wanted to see if you had any questions before I started. I just wanted to basically present that I've been working on continued more press releases. We did one for the police department. We did one for the rec board, maybe two for the rec board, one for the fire truck. Want to continue that. I think that we had a really nice meeting with our group, the communications subcommittee, and I'm going to meet with. I've met with Patty Thomas. I'm going to meet with Patty again. I'm going to use the chamber to work collaboratively on the event on the 28th. We're going to start, pushing more the farmers markets on the 7th of June. But I think the 28th is a good way to really do an awesome kickoff food truck thing. When Patty and I are going to she's been calling me all week, but I've been very busy with the school district and that. So that's been part of the part of the reason why I'm late tonight. So I think what Patty and I were going to talk about was how many trucks, getting the word out in the right way, maybe bringing some entertainment in so we can get more people down here, and making sure it's a good event so we can keep up that, vibrant stuff.
So you're saying the 28th of
June, that's a Thursday night.
For the first food truck?
Yes, that's going to be the first food truck. So then the last Thursday of each month will be a food truck event.
Okay.
So Patty and I were going to work on that. She was trying to get Ken Shields from Oakmont Barbecue, made connection with him, and then I think that he didn't call her back again, so. I talked to Bob. Bob was putting together a calendar for the borough with Roger DeTurk.
That's going into print next week.
Okay. So, I met with Jerry and I passed some information over to Sandy, and I'm looking for some sort of approval or more of a guideline. I have a branding company that I work with that helps me out with branding for the district and stuff, and I'd like to pass this around. This is, I wanted to show you these. These are, since Verona is purple and gold. Yeah. So we did a couple renderings. We did one with white. You guys can pass this around. There's one with just the gold. But it says "Love this town." I think that, you want to look at the poster? Jerry and I had talked about, you have various organizations here in town that have your garden clubs, your rec board, that we have to look at doing a 501c3. So it would be a 501c3, Verona Community Association umbrella, and then each organization would have their pocket. This would kind of brand us all together. Maybe we can have this logo. I'm thinking it's some sort of a logo, and I brought something with me. They do. Almost like a poster campaign, or having the businesses would have that Verona logo, and then we would get sponsors to come in and do this. Now, this would all be part of a 501c3. Again, we'd have to get that approved, donation letters to kind of put this all together, go to print and copy, maybe they could start, Again, it's part of like a flag campaign, branding. You come in, you would see your Verona, love this town. I think that if you love your town, it's just a good way of pushing it. So, putting this brand up at grids, things like that. So.
Thank you, Mr. Computer.
So tell me what you think of it. Again, it's an idea. I was thinking maybe I could give it to Bob for the calendar as well, because the calendar is something that's going to have all the events on it, and the residents are all going to get it, right, Bob? Yes. So if the residents get it, they start seeing it, it can kind of be our little, and it's a train. We care about the train.
I hit back too many times.
Did you go back?
Yeah. Where's it at?
I'm looking at my emails from what is the district budget? You're not allowed to see that.
We saw it. You're in trouble.
WPXI was up at the school. So that was the first one that you saw.
Right.
Again, I think that, I think if we're shooting for June 28th as the first food truck,
Right.
I mean, like more of this kind of branding and coming around, it goes, it's again, everything's a work in progress, but it's a way we can stamp ourselves and people can believe in the town. What do you think? What do you think, Dr. Carpenter? You're thinking. I see you thinking, so.
Well, I think it's always good to have a logo, and then, what do you do with it? I mean, do you put it on a T-shirt, a bag?
You can do anything like that. Any kind of your campaigns, or, like I've said, even like doing like a postcard campaign for, now the summer events we're kind of into at this point, but as you do things for the fall, that could be, one of the things that we're putting out there that people see that. New families coming into town. The old logo is something that we looked at for the website, and it hadn't been done in a very long time. So before we threw the website up being live, I went to my creative people and I said, can you come up with something? And again, Verona is it is, it's the train, it's part of it. So I kind of told him that and came up with that.
Now, if we purchase that logo, that becomes ours, and we can actually use it anywhere we want.
Right.
We can get T-shirts made or mugs made or anything.
Right, and that's why I kind of went to him and said, and then if we need things going forward, like different files for things like that, it's just a start of a campaign that we would have, but that would be our artwork that we would own. It would be part of the brand, but I want everyone's input because it's your brand. It's not.
That would go on our website, that could go on the newsletter, everywhere.
We would,
Okay.
it's kind of like the new R. It's the same thing. And I finally got the new R shaped up, so it's, I mean, it would be really nice to have those flags as you're coming into town, things like that, or posters on the businesses, yes.
Yes.
I mean, eventually, and I've done this in Oakmont with the Relay for Life, we've had her like paint the town purple, and people would come at night and, would walk, You could do things as like a shopping night, or bring people to town on a night and have like a mix for that same night. And I would work with Patty on that, because Patty's got a network through the chamber. So again, it's like business, community, borough, the whole 9 yards, and rec board. Rec board's young, so it's like it all works out. So,
do you have a cost for us?
They told me in between $750 and $1,000 for that to buy it. So.
Okay. Do you want to think about this, look at it, and we can save it for the workshop?
Can we get an email with the different designs?
Actually, Jerry has all.
Yeah, I have the email I can forward to everybody.
Yeah.
With all the different colors, and like you guys can decide.
Yeah.
It's important to understand, though, we can't use that logo unless we pay for it. So if that logo ends up somewhere, we're in
Why don't you
a lot
just
of
make
trouble.
copies of all 4 or 5 of them?
And have them here, yeah.
Then we can discuss
That's
which
fine.
ones.
I just don't want
That
that
would be
logo
better.
to end up somewhere.
That's why I'm saying that.
I just think if we have it like beforehand, I mean, then we're not,
Yeah.
it gives us time to think about it,
And then
and we
we
can
What he's saying
discuss.
is we can't use it for anything.
Correct.
That's what he's saying.
Who owns the logo?
The branding company.
Can't they put their brand on it, so,
So like a watermark?
Yeah, like a
before it's
watermark.
out.
He can. I mean, I could very well. I mean, I have a working relationship with him.
Yeah.
He did some work for me in the past. But my concern was that I wanted it to get up on the website and get it to go live. So that's the only. When's your next voting meeting?
Our workshop will be
2
on the 29th.
last Tuesday of the month.
Okay.
Is that too late?
No, I mean it's up. But again, I think that I wanted to use it for the calendar and things like that. I know we're in a. It's just one of those things.
Right.
I want it to look sharp.
Yeah.
The look is everything. So.
Right.
What's the anticipated go-live date for the website?
We're still working on it. It looks.
Well, yeah, it looks good. We just need to get some more photography done.
Right.
Now that the weather's nice and we can actually take pictures and it doesn't look like Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so we took
So
some
we're
pictures
close.
of the
But
school.
the content is there. The pages are all done. It's just a matter of getting the logo up there, if we do this logo or the old logo, and getting the pictures up in the community. So if anybody has any decent resolution pictures of the community, email them to me. We could use them.
All right, thank you.
Do you have any other questions, though, for me while I'm here about what I've been doing, or if anyone had any questions while I was here? I will continue to get more information, more releases. Like I said, right now, I got to get with Patty and really push that. That is going to be, as far as I'm concerned, a really big deal to push, that the 28th event, because I'd like to try to get some different vendors in here too, just to kind of have more foot traffic.
And in addition to that, Mr. Stein has suggested that the council put out a communication booth on that particular Thursday, so that, copies of different parts of the code could be there for people, so that we don't have residents coming like the last time saying he didn't know about the fireworks that he sent off, that he got a citation for it, and he didn't know anything about it. So they'll be able to get that kind of information from the communication booth.
Okay.
So I thought Mrs. Loalbo can't be there on Thursdays, so I figured we could take turns per month, starting in June, and I'll have a sign-up sheet for that at our workshop meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
And any of the information that we work on to put out for that food truck event, we're going to try to get it up on like the school district website as well, things like that. I think that we can try to hit more, or even their Facebook pages. We did start a Facebook page. The borough did start a Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, look for it. It's just under Verona Borough. I did start one. So I wanted you to just even send any information you can or get people to like it. I'll share it again. I shared that there was a meeting tonight, trying to put some pictures up. I did put the Doughboy picture up in it. I think I'll try to friend you too. You can send it to all your constituents. Try to get them on it.
What time is the food truck thing?
I think it's what time is it?
2 to 7. What day is it?
The 28th is it?
Oh, so it's happening at the same time as the...
That's a weekend.
It's the farmer's
No.
market, but there's going to be food trucks there too.
Just see if that's the week we move into Chautauqua. Oh, that's a Monday. Oh, that's
June 28th is a
It'll be a
Thursday.
The Thursday.
And it's at the same, so they're here
Down here.
while they're having a farmer's market.
Yes.
2 to 7.
Okay. Well, the reason okay, I was confused. I thought you...
Just to
Never
fix
mind.
that from Carrie's pension out, I did speak with the Center of the Arts, and they are going to sponsor open mic Fridays at the pavilion, which will be open to the public. And it's going to be really neat. And then Craig, I'll get with you as far as a waiver of liability on that too.
Okay, yeah. We just did one for the yoga thing. We can adapt it.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
With the food truck, did you happen to reach out to Millville? Because I know they have a pretty large one.
Patty was going to do some of that.
Just a recommendation.
No, and I told Patty, like, our first one, we just really gotta make sure we don't have too many, and then we don't lose people. Then we had one, there was not the food trucks won't come back if they can't get their money.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing, is that I'd rather have more people, and
Understandable.
so I get it, but I think that there's a possibility that we could try to get a decent amount of Millville, and I already told her I had a relationship with Edward Tacos, and I think Edward Tacos is like a big one too.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Vince Flota, 323 Penn Street. I have about 4 things. One is I wanted to remind Jerry about the t-shirts.
Yep. So the rec board is going to do t-shirts for their events, and it's in this pile somewhere.
It's one point.
We wanted to see if we could agree to pay for it. It's $120, and it's for, was it 12? No,
12,
10.
a dozen extra large t-shirts.
Yeah, 12 extra large t-shirts, so that the volunteers could have Verona branded shirts so that they can be distinguished in the crowd, so.
What's the shirt's going to say?
It has our Parks and Rec logo on it. You can find that on Facebook. It's like, I also do logos, so I might be able to save you guys money on that too.
Just the logo.
Do you say, you know?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
So it's $120, so we would,
Need a motion to approve the 12 extra large t-shirts with Verona Parks and Recreation Board logo on it at a price of $10 a piece for a total of $120.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Conti.
Second.
Second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any questions?
Who's going to make the shirts? Do we have somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
The company that's 6-1.
Studio 613?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll take care of all that?
Yeah, I'll get it delivered, I'll pay, or I'll give them the money, and the guy plays in my football league, so I see him every week.
so I'll write the check out to them.
Yeah, it says on the bottom, Sheila Bollinger, make it payable to her.
Okay, and then I'll get you the check.
Okay, no problem. He'll probably make them, and then we'll exchange it. We don't need to pay up front or anything. So.
Okay.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Conti, second by Dr. Carpenter. Are there any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Do you need this?
Yes.
The second thing is I was approached last week by a Oakmont resident named Andy Saporito. He is the program manager for youth camps over at football youth camps over at PISA, Pittsburgh Indoor Sports Arena in Cheswick. He offered to help promote our flag football fundraiser with flyers on site, and he was going to send it to everybody in his football database. He was also going to donate a piece of gift basket, which he already has, and he offered to provide a backup location for us on the 24th in the event of severe weather up at Cribs so we could play indoor and still have our fundraiser at PISA. He also offered to pay a quarter of the amount of the t-shirts. I'm wearing one that we got last year for the staff and the champions. He said he would pay a quarter of that if we would put his logo on the sleeve. I had a meeting with him yesterday at 11 a.m. and finalized everything, and he gave me 4 signs like the Yoga in the Park sign and asked if I can get council's approval to put them up in our 4 parks, which would be Below the Tracks, Memorial Park, Riverbank Park, Railroad Park, and Cribs. So could I get approval to, they're just like pushing, like, I don't know, 2 foot by.
So the motion will be in order to approve the signage as
Okay.
photo.
Yard sign, they're like yard signs.
They're like election signs
Yeah.
with the little push-in wire things.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the yard signs for the name of the group?
PISA, Pittsburgh Indoor Sports.
Pittsburgh Inside Sports, 4 signs to be placed at the parks around town in Verona.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by, are there any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Bob had a question.
Bob had a question.
We can do a permanent waive the fees.
Oh,
Okay. No problem. Just let me know what I need to sign, and I sign. I also want to announce, we had a meeting, our nonprofit foundation had a meeting last Wednesday, and we voted to expand our board from 5 members to 7 members. So we are now accepting applications for 2 new board members.
For what?
We are forming a Lower Valley Athletic Foundation.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit. And yeah, we just expanded the board so we could get more done. It was too hard with 5 people, so. You could either show up next month, the first Wednesday of the month, to drop off your application or just a letter of intent if you're interested.
Where at?
Here, 6:30, first Wednesday of every month. Or you could email to info@lowervalleyfootball.com. And just one more thing, we do have the flag football fundraiser coming up, as I mentioned earlier. And I know the condition of the water up at Cribs is pretty bad. Is there any way we could get a quick fix on site, like just have a plumber come up there and patch a couple of the leaks before then so we could have running water?
The road department was up there, I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, and they were supposed to start doing repairs. They should have everything done by the end of this week.
It's not until June 24th. I just wanted to see if we could, I want to make sure we have running water and flushable toilets for if we get a lot of people there.
Yeah.
If we even have it there, it might rain, we might have a piece of it. I'm just trying to cover all angles.
It should be good by then.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vince, where is that indoor place?
It's off of 910.
Okay.
So if you go over
Do you
to
know where
Harbor,
Rich Hill
you turn
Road is?
on Route 910,
Yeah.
you go up the hill, there's
Yeah.
a new gas station right there. It's right before there.
Okay,
To your right. So
Yeah.
as you go up
Get out on the hill, there's a
first right.
brickyard, it's right
Okay.
across the street.
that's nice.
Yeah.
It's not too far.
Yeah,
No, it's close. It's
Yeah.
really
thank you.
Thank you.
Right?
One more.
Don Worf, 636 3rd Avenue. First of all, I'd like to thank this council for taking the time to look at that situation down there by the railroad tracks, probably for the first time in the history of Verona. Thank you. That is while we're fixing up our parks and putting up new street signs and paving the streets and making Verona look very nice, we're letting a situation occur down there that's been probably occurring for the last 100 years. And it is a disease, it's an environment where diseases can spread. It's a place for insects, it's a place for rats. And I don't think it's anybody's problem, I don't think it's one person's responsibility. And its cause is from everyone in this borough, the citizens and the council. And I do appreciate this being taken seriously and having something done about it. Thank you very much about that.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
On that one, if they follow the fence along the railroad tracks, that's where they're going to run into it?
Yeah, basically from, what's the street? What's the first street?
East Railroad or West?
I'm sorry, but the one that goes Jones, is it Jones? Wait, what's the street?
Grant Street.
Grant Street. Grant Street, basically from Grant Street on up towards the McDonald's, where there is a break in the fence, by the way. I don't know if that's known by anybody, but there's a break in the fence there, and people have been using that as a shortcut for a long time now. I don't know if that's should be permitted or not. I don't know who put the fence up.
The shopping center put the fence up. Whoever tore it down to do the shortcut, the shopping center put the fence back up. They tore it down, and I believe they left the opening there because they kind of got the hint that people want to, take a shortcut.
Well, maybe if we post signs every 10 feet, no trespassing or something that, and, go back there once in a while and scare some of those kids that are back there. I think it's mostly kids.
Sure.
But there's grass clippings back there, there's garbage back there, there's, just people just littered it back there with their garbage. I don't know if they're paying their refuse bill or not, but...
I'd like to take a walk back and see if there's any drug needles back there.
Well, you probably would find, you might be very careful, with ticks and everything else back there, but, if you do go back to wear long pants and check yourself afterwards, but it's a real mess. And maybe take Mr. Fitzgerald down there. You wouldn't want to, you wouldn't want to do that. So we need to do something about that. And I don't think it's just the responsibility of the railroad either. It's our responsibility. We allowed our citizens to make a mess there, and we have to clean it up for that reason. Second thing. Does the council ever consider writing an article once in a while for the newsletter? Maybe a summary of some of the highlights of council doings or happenings. It would be a nice gesture of transparency and concern for the citizens of this town for someone on council to, take a moment and write an article. Only be 4 times a year. And it would look, it would be something that the people could look at, and rather than wait for the videos to go on or come to the council meetings, they could get a synopsis of what's taking place through the article. So I would suggest, as a suggestion, to think about that and maybe write something. Third thing, just want to mention that there was a successful plant sale and a successful concert in the parks that took place over the weekend. And that should have been mentioned. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn to exec session? We do not have to return.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
On legal issues.
I'll make a motion to adjourn to exec session on legal issues. We don't have to return.
A motion by Mr. Conti. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Suchovich. Are there any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.